Right, now we talk about time dilation. Now, to me, time dilation, I ain't buying it. It's a Mandela effect, and let me show you why. Yeah, you know, during winter or when you're cold, um, I don't know about you, but for me, when I'm in a cold environment, things seem to take longer. Yeah, things take ages. It's like you sit there and you're like, I swear 10 minutes have gone by, but then you look on your watch and it's only 1 minute gone by. You're like, what? So it's kind of like you get that time dilation consciously, if you like. And I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you have to, where things are moving so quick that you have to change the way you react to things. Let's say you're in a sport which involves you doing, um, calculating things at speed. Yeah. When you start to calculate things at speed, you could start thinking, oh, a minute, I've been doing this for like 5 minutes, but then you look on your clock and it's only been like 20-30 seconds, right? So that to me is also kind of like consciously time has dilated. Yeah. Now, time dilation in terms of physics, the way they see it, I'll give you the example of this chap, cosmonaut, I think his name was Sergei Kirikalev. Yeah, he spent how much was it? 803 days in space. Yeah, orbiting the Earth, and apparently they calculated that he, after that period of time, he had lived 0.02 seconds less than the rest of us. So he actually went into his own future by 0.02 seconds. The time dilation of 0.02 seconds. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm calling BS here. You know why? Yeah, because when we decided what a second was, yeah, we based it, we calibrated our machine on Earth. Yeah. So whatever cesium atom we was looking at, it was in situ on Earth, right? So the Earth has an intrinsic temperature, yeah. So whatever you measure on Earth, its environment is going to be as hot as the heat within the Earth, yeah. Well, on the surface of the Earth, or in the atmosphere of the Earth, I should say. Yeah. So even if you create a vacuum on the surface of the Earth, the heat inside that vacuum is going to be the same as the atmospheric heat of the atmosphere. Now, if you create a vacuum in space or somewhere away from the sun, then there will be less heat in the environment within that vacuum. Yeah, so I'll recap again. The amount of heat in the vacuums that you create on Earth is different from the amount of heat you get if you recreated a vacuum somewhere in space away from the sun, where there's not that much heat. Yeah, so you have a vacuum that has no air, it's just an empty space, but it still has heat from its surroundings. Yeah, so if you had created a vacuum in space and put your cesium atom in that vacuum in space, yeah, and measured, what is it, the 9 billion periods of radiation in space, yeah, and you calibrated your timepieces with that measurement, yeah, and you compared it to what we have here as a definition of a second based on a vacuum that was created on Earth with the atmospheric temperature of that vacuum. Yeah. I think you'll be getting two different values. Yeah. You'll be getting two different values. Yeah. You see, if you compare those two timepieces, one that was calibrated in space and one was calibrated on Earth, they will be running at two different rates. They will be running at two different rates, and if you synchronize them, you'll see that they'll be running at two different rates. Yeah. My point is that when radiation moves in a vacuum that has no other radiation in it, yeah, then there's no mixing of radiation here. So when you measure that radiation, it'll be pure. There won't be any other heat in it. Yeah. But if you was to create a vacuum and you allow the radiation from the Earth's atmosphere to go in and out of that vacuum, and then you measure the amount of radiation produced by that cesium atom, you're going to have like a mixing of radiation, isn't it? It's like a mixing of lasers which produce a different color. So your measuring device will be affected by the presence of other radiation within that vacuum. Yeah. Now I don't know how they managed to make that measurement. Did they create a vacuum and then kind of put it in an environment where it was at absolute zero? Yeah. Where they made a vacuum and then they surrounded it by liquid nitrogen and I don't know, sucked out all the heat and then put a cesium atom in there. I don't know, but I do not think that they created a vacuum at absolute zero, yeah, for them to understand the difference before calling direct dilation, yeah, because that difference there, yeah, a vacuum at absolute zero and the vacuum at Earth atmospheric temperature, the radiation that travels within those two vessels, those two vacuums, travels at different, will give you different measurements. Will give you different measurements because they'll be mixing in one and there won't be any mixing in the other. It should be giving you two different measurements. Yeah. So before you call dilation, you have to create a vacuum at absolute zero, yeah, and calibrate a timepiece there, yeah, and then synchronize it with one that's been calibrated on Earth and see if there ain't no dilation there. Yeah. So I'm saying that time dilation is not something that has been proved yet. You're out there in space, yeah. The temperature of your timepieces out in space is different from the atmospheric temperature we have here. Yeah. You spend half your time on the other side of the sun, yeah, where it's cold like fuck. So you're not gonna have, how do I put it? You're not gonna have the atmospheric temperature that we have on Earth out there in space. So you're gonna have your timepieces running at slightly different rates. Yeah. Now when you have the timepieces that were put into a plane and made to go quick and then they came back and showing different values, yeah, same rules apply. The temperature at close to the surface of the Earth is different from the temperature higher up close to the clouds. Yeah, and that could be causing the dilation effect that you're seeing there, and other physics. Anyway, I got cut off, but back to the point. Basically, we've never been able to achieve absolute zero on Earth. Come close to it. We come to probably a billionth of a Kelvin from getting to 0 Kelvin, but we've never actually been there. And basically, what I wanted to add is that we'll never actually create a vacuum that is at absolute zero. There is one timepiece that's kept in Switzerland somewhere that is in very, very cold conditions, but I wouldn't have thought it was anywhere close to within a degree of absolute zero. I don't know what the specifications are, but we can't make a vacuum that is at absolute zero. Yeah, so there will always be a dilation, yeah, from the fact that these timepieces are not being kept at absolute zero, and whatever temperature they're in changes from location to location. Yeah, and then there's the mechanical effects. Now, in terms of the apparatus you use to create zero, yeah, that is subject to physical forces and loadings. Now, if you use a freezing device, yeah, I don't know the mechanisms in it, but if you start to move that at speed, it's gonna be affected by loading on its surfaces. Yeah, so you need to calibrate for so many different things, and that's what I think, that even if you take two identical clocks that in their local environment are cold, they wouldn't be at absolute zero, and if you start moving one relative to another, the apparatus used to freeze it will be affected by that movement. Now, I know the scientists are very clever and they would have calibrated for that, but I still think that dilation is caused by mechanical loading and the fact that these timepieces are not at absolute zero, and the amount of the temperature in these vacuums varies from location to location, and that's it. One more thing, and then there's tolerance. Yeah, so now if you make two identical clocks, yeah, those are two separate manufactured products. We all know that there's no two products that are ever exactly the same. Now, when you're dealing with tolerances in terms of setting a cold temperature, if you set a cold temperature to minus 270 degrees, right? And then you create one product where you've set that temperature there. If you create another product where you set that temperature there is a tolerance. There is probably 0.01 of a degree where you don't know if it exactly matches or not. So there's gonna be minuscule differences in whenever two different clocks are made. Yeah. So and the differences that were measured when these clocks were put at speed, and if you look at the tolerances in terms of how identical they are, yeah, you can't say that there is a difference. There is a time dilation. You can't say that. You can't say that. If you look at the tolerances, you can't tell me that somebody managed to make two clocks which were at the same exact temperature within what tolerance? Yeah, within 100th of a degree, 1,000th of a degree, 1,000,000,000th of a degree. Yeah, and if you look at that tolerance there, yeah, if you look at differences at that scale, yeah, and the dilation caused by those differences, was that considered? I don't trust scientists, so I ask so many different questions. I haven't read the experiment or proved it, yeah, validated it myself, but I know that as scientists we miss a lot of things, and I'm pretty sure they haven't considered the effects of temperature on perceived time dilation, even tolerances, yeah, in the manufactured products, the two clocks, yeah, and the temperature difference is due to the fact that there is a tolerance, yeah, beyond which we don't know if they're identical or not, yeah, and the dilation that can be caused by that temperature difference. The most pessimistic value and the most optimistic value. Oh shit, I should probably do this research, innit? I should probably set up an experiment to prove that. Who got time for that? Anyway, that's my talk on time dilation finished, I hope. Okay, I'm not finished with dilation yet. So, I was thinking about that experiment of taking two identical atomic clocks, leaving one on the ground, putting one in a plane, flying it around for a few hours, and then seeing the time dilation. Right now, I'm just saying, because no two identical clocks are ever really identical. There's probably a billionth of a degree difference in temperature. So what I'm saying is, why not take 10 identical clocks, right? Keep one on the ground, and have 9 planes, and put one identical clock in each of those planes, and fly them about for the same duration, and then bring them down and compare the time differences with the grounded clock. You have 9 different clocks to compare with it, so that's 9 different values, and then you take the mean, yeah. But doing it on just 2 clocks is not enough. It's not enough because there's no such thing as identical, yeah. You should have used 10 clocks and taken the mean value to see if the mean value is above the grounded value, yeah, or if it's above and below. If it does show dilation when you use that as a parameter, basically, yeah. So I don't think that experiment was conducted properly, so I don't think time dilation has been proved, and I still think it's due to mechanical effects and temperature differences between the measuring devices from location to location.